All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Delaware member session. My name is Sandra Mila. I'm the director of the Coalition for the Delaware River Watershed. Before I turn it over to Kelly and Emily to kick us off, I just have a few housekeeping notes. This session is being recorded. It's going to be uploaded to CDRW's YouTube account, hopefully by the end of next week, and we'll definitely alert folks to that. Attendees are muted, so please, be sure to keep yourselves muted unless during the Q&A session we can probably, play it by ear. We can take folks off mute to ask some questions and have more of a conversation, of course, and also we're going to be using breakout rooms later in the session. If you're having technical issues, just feel free to message me in the chat directly. I will try my best to help you. No promises, but I will try. And also, today's the last day of the forum, so I'm going to put a link into the rest of the schedule just so folks can check it out. And we have some really great sessions still for the rest of the day, 11 o'clock, 12:30, I believe, and then another at 2:30. So feel free to check them out. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Kelly.
Thanks, Sandra, and good morning, everyone. Again, thank you for virtually joining us. My name is Kelly Knutson, State Policy Manager with the Coalition of the Delaware River Watershed. Today, we're also joined by the Coalition's Delaware State Lead, Emily Ezekiel at Delaware Nature Society, so welcome. Over the next hour, participants in this session will engage in the Coalition's state policy priorities and discuss strategy and tactics for the remainder of this legislative session. We're encouraging everyone involved today to be pretty forward.
You have your Monday.
No worries. We're encouraging everyone involved today to be pretty forward and collaborative with your ideas in order to develop the best shared approach to our clean water and advocacy goals. And just a reminder that this will be the start to a larger and continuing conversation as well. We'd be happy to follow up with any resources or information mentioned in this session at a later date as well. So all of you here are very integral in achieving our victories across the watershed and look forward to partnering with you beyond this call and the forum as well. And given the volume of participants, we have about 21 or so, we want to provide an opportunity for everyone to speak. So please be mindful of others on today's call and allowing their perspective to be heard. We've also been conducting these state policy sessions for each basin state throughout the forum. This is the last one on our last day of the forum, but if you were unable to attend a previous session, they are recorded, like Sandra mentioned, and we'll be sure to make everyone have access to those. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Emily to get us started. Thanks again for joining us. Take it away.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Emily Ezekiel, and I am the Director of Advocacy and External Affairs for the Delaware Nature Society. All right, can everybody see that? When I say see that, see the, all right, we're good, we're good. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am very, very grateful for your time and your energy and effort. And what I like to say about Delaware is that we are small, but we are mighty, and we get some good stuff done. So our agenda today is going to be this. We're going to do welcome and introductions. I know there's 21 of us, but I really would like to have a dialogue. So I am going to ask everybody to go around the Zoom room and introduce yourself, the organization you're representing, if any, and what brings you to the Delaware session today. And then we're going to have the priority session. We have 4 priorities that we have updated. We're going to have you guys vote and select what you think is the #1 priority. Then we're going to break into small groups for about 20 minutes. Then we're going to come back and report out and do a conclusion. So we'll get into that process in a minute, but first let's kick it off. And what I'm going to ask everybody to do, as I said, we're going to do welcome and introductions. What brings you to the Delaware session today? And you know how it can be confusing when you have so many people on Zoom? So I'm going to ask you to do your part and then call on the next person. And then if you don't know who, does everybody have names up? If you can, if you could put names up, that would be terrific. Then call on the next person. So for example, my name is Emily Ezekiel. As I said, I'm the Director of Advocacy and External Affairs at the Delaware Nature Society. And what brings me to the Delaware session today is that I've been in Delaware for 25 years now. I love this little state. I'm committed to working with you guys on clean water issues. And Ellie, I'm going to call on my colleague Ellie from the Delaware Nature Society to kick it off, and then let's go around the room.
Sure. Hi, everyone. So my name is Ellie Ezekiel. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And I am an environmental advocate at Delaware Nature Society, working on primarily local government issues. And what brings me to this session, well, a continued history working with CDRW and our shared priorities of what we work on at Del Nature and the coalition. So excited to continue working. And I will call on, let's see, Jen Adkins.
Okay, sorry, my screen just shifted and I can't see myself anymore to go off mute. Can you hear me? Okay, good. Hi, I'm Jen Adkins. I'm newly with American Rivers, but I'm a longtime resident and longtime involved in Delaware issues. So I might have a little catching up to do, but that's what brings me here today. And what else? Who's next? I can't see very many other people. I see Suzanne. You want to go next?
Okay. I don't know if people can see me.
And not wear the mask are the people who know which one the better are.
Can people see?
Yes.
Okay, good. Hi, thank
I
you.
can see
Sorry, a little technology issue here also. Okay, I'm a volunteer. My name is Suzanne Zlotnick. I'm with the Friends of Poquessing Watershed. We are in the Philadelphia area. We're in between the Neshaminy Watershed and the Pennypack Watershed. I'm very interested in this conference because we do work with the Partnership for the Delaware Estuary all the time, and I'm very interested in a holistic view of the Delaware River watershed. So I just want to share any ideas about education or creativity. I'm a retired school teacher. So nice to meet everybody. Okay, and I'll call on Sandra.
Hey folks, I'm Sandra Mila. I'm the director of the Coalition for the Delaware River Watershed. And what brings me here, well, I'm staffing the session and I love working with everyone in Delaware. They're probably the easiest folks to work with due to its small size and nature and collaborative feel. So, and with that, I will turn it over to John Donahue. Oop, John, you're on mute.
Sorry. Hi, I'm John Donahue. I'm the president of Three Rivers Environmental Consulting, and I've been representing the Appalachian Trail Conservancy for the last 2.5 years as the Delaware River Watershed Coordinator on their behalf. And we're very interested in what happens in mighty Delaware. Oh, and let's see, I'm going to call on Beth Brown, Audubon.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Beth Brown. I'm with Audubon's Delaware River Watershed Program. We're working throughout the 4-state watershed on policy, conservation, and network engagement, and just interested in being part of the conversation today. I will call on Mike Slattery.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Slattery. I work for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. I'm the Delaware River Watershed Coordinator, Partnership Coordinator. And we are co-managing a grant program for the watershed with National Fish and Wildlife Foundation, also networking and tightening a collaborative partnership for the entire watershed. And our sincerest desire is to have that support the collective priorities of the people and partners in the watershed. And in order for me to understand what those priorities are, what you would like to have in terms of support from us, it's important for me to listen to the perspectives of the 4 basin states cohorts of the coalition. Oh, and I will call on Kathy Klein.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to see all of you. I'm Kathy Klein. I'm with the Partnership for the Delaware Estuary and have been back for a couple years and have gotten involved with the coalition and all of the great work that we're doing. I think most of you know that We are the home of the host and partner in the Delaware Estuary Program. We've been doing work in the watershed for the past 25 years, and we cover a huge area. It's challenging. I'd love to be on all of the different work groups for the states, but I focused on my time working on the Delaware work group because we're based in Delaware. The partnership's home is in Wilmington, Delaware, and I've lived in Delaware for the past 25 years. It seems hard to believe that, but I have. So that's why we're involved, and looking forward to doing more great work. Thank you. I will turn it over to Stacy Mulholland.
Good morning, I'm Stacy Mulholland. I'm with the Delaware River Basin Commission. I'm in government affairs with the commission. I'm here today to show our love for Delaware. We really appreciate the support that Delaware provides for the commission and has steadily over the years, and just looking to get to know the different partners in the Delaware community. And with that, I will turn it over to Jen or Green.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Orr Green. I am the Eastern Policy Director with Trout Unlimited. And I do a lot of advocacy and policy work, both at the state levels and federal level, kind of throughout the Eastern United States. I am on the call today to find out what's going on in Delaware. It's one of the states that I haven't been following quite as much, and so I'd like to learn a little bit more. And I'm having a hard time remembering who got called already, so I'm gonna try Fred Suffian, and if he was already called on, let me know. I'll pick someone else.
Hi, this is Fred Suffian. I'm the non-point source project officer for Delaware for Section 319 funds, and also support our regional effort. For those of you who are not familiar with Section 319 funds of the Clean Water Act, it's generally the non-point source program, and we provide funding to the states in the Mid-Atlantic region, with the exception of New Jersey. About $14 million a year. Delaware gets a little bit over $1 million a year of that funding, and it's to support program staffing and to support watershed-based implementation projects with the intent of restoring, and meeting water quality goals of the state. So I'm glad to be here, glad to participate and listen in. And I'm going to have this kind of the same challenge as Jen. I'm going to call on Hannah Sanders.
Hi, everyone. I'm Hannah Sanders. I actually work with Fred at EPA Region 3, also supporting Delaware 319 program, as well as some of the green infrastructure programs that we do in our section. So I am here just to kind of get a better feel for what else is going on in Delaware and how some of these programs kind of intersect. I missed the first few moments of the call, so I'm gonna take a shot in the dark and try Harry Knight. If we got Harry on the line. I will try again for Jessica Newburn.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Jessica Newburn. I work for the National Park Service in the Upper Delaware, and I'm tuning in today because I think it's good to know what all of the different states are working on. So I've been in the other states' forums too. Oh. And I will call on Marcellus Murray.
Can you guys hear me all right? I'm a college student at Rutgers University. I'm an ecology major, so I just wanted to, I can come in all the state meetings just to get informed, and hopefully I could work with some of you guys one day. And next would be Ellie Ezekiel.
Actually, I already went. But there might be somebody else who still hasn't gone yet.
How about Ellen? Ellen Kohler, I think, is on the line.
Hey, good morning. This is Ellen. I'm sorry I'm not on video, but I have to be on the move during this call. So I am here wearing two hats today. I am a board member for the Delaware Nature Society. I live in Wilmington, Delaware, so I'm very interested in talking about what's going on in Delaware. But in addition to my work, I am the program director for water resources for the University of Maryland's Environmental Finance Center. We work in the Mid-Atlantic region, supporting communities addressing environmental challenges. That includes Pennsylvania and Delaware. We also partner with our sister EFC from Syracuse to work in New Jersey and New York. So I'm very interested from a work perspective too. Thanks. Sorry, I forgot. I'm supposed to call on somebody. How about Megan Mackey?
Hi, everyone. I am Megan Mackey. I am the National Estuary Program Team Lead for EPA Region 3. Interested in the discussion today because I serve as both the Delaware Estuary and Delaware Inland Bays Program Coordinator in the Estuary Program. And I'm also newly taking on the Delaware 106 and 604B grants. And I will, let me see if I can find anybody else.
John Harrod, I saw him join.
Or Simeon Hahn. I see Simeon.
Hi, this is John Harrod with the Delaware Nature Society. I direct our environmental center on the Wilmington Riverfront. I joined today because I thought it'd be fun to meet some folks and see if I could help Emily and Ellie at DNS in some fashion. All right, Del Nature. And I'll call on Simeon because apparently he hasn't been called on.
Simeon, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, this is Simeon Hahn. I work for NOAA. I live in Wilmington, Delaware, and worked over the years on the Urban Water Federal Partnership for the Delaware River, and work a lot on contaminated sites and habitat restoration, and environmental justice type efforts. I've worked a lot with state of Delaware, Fish and Wildlife, and all the states really, in what's called natural resource damage assessments and other urban water issues. And I can't see the screen right now, so if somebody could help me call somebody, that'd be great.
I think we're cooking along. Let's see here. I don't think, and please correct me, Danielle McCullough, have you gone?
Hi, can you guys see me? Hi, I'm Danielle McCulloch. I'm working with Mike on the Delaware Watershed Conservation Fund. So just listening in and seeing where Delaware's priorities are.
Great. Do you have someone to call on, Danielle?
Anyone who hasn't called yet. Has Mike gone? Sorry, I just got off a phone call.
You're fine. Candace Mead, have you gone yet?
Hi, I have not gone yet. I joined a bit late here and just having a video issue also. So sorry I don't have video, but that is me in my picture there. And I work with the Institute for Conservation Leadership, working with the Delaware River Watershed Initiative. So I thought I'd join today to hear about some of the work that's going on in Delaware. And yeah, we're trying to just keep ourselves engaged in what's going on in the work. So I'm interested to kind of hear about what's going on with this group.
Great, thank you. So let's just, anybody who hasn't spoken, if you could just go ahead and speak up.
We're good.
All right, great. Let me get back to my screen share now.
Good morning.
I'm sorry, we cannot hear you. Could you repeat yourself? All right, I think we had someone talking, but we lost that person. So with everybody's permission, I'm just gonna go ahead and proceed. So there are a series of priorities that was identified by this group when we met back in January. It seems like it was a whole different world at that point. But I think as everybody knows, each year CDRW works with each state group to select priorities for that year. Our priorities were identified in January, and the priorities will be updated again at the end of this year after this election. I think many of us are thinking it's possible there'll be a big sea change in environmental policy come November at potentially all levels of government. So we'll be watching that closely. The Delaware priorities have been updated to reflect some of the work already accomplished. And so Delaware just updated its MS4 rules. And I want to do a special call out to Ellie Ezekiel and Ellen Kohler, who were a terrific partnership and really, really helped us at the Delaware Nature Society provide feedback to DNREC. For those of you who don't know, DNREC is our state version of the EPA, and the MS4 permit update suggestions were provided early in September. Completion of the General Assembly. Our General Assembly stops meeting every year on June 30th, so our legislature is out for 6 months. There is a brighter focus on DEIJ issues. In January, even though the idea was that DEIJ issues would be part of everything, it was not called out as a specific priority and is being done so now. And also DNREC is issuing, we have a plastic bag ban, yay, that's kicking off in January of 21 in Delaware. And DNREC just issued the draft regulations. They're going to be issuing the final version of the draft next week. And we also want to talk about that piece. So Delaware priorities, what we're asking everybody do today is to select priorities. One of these four, and we're going to talk about, I have a proposal for folks if people agree, but advocate for the Clean Water for Delaware Act, which is state legislation, and $25 million in funding. Consider DEIJ issues as part of any clean water advocacy and build relationships with local environmental justice groups. That is something we've been working hard at Delaware Nature Society, and we know other folks have as well, particularly folks on this call and CDRW. Fight any rollbacks of the plastic bag ban and support rigorous state regulations to implement the ban, and explore opportunities to amplify and coordinate efforts with the Partnership for Scenic and Wild Rivers. The thing is that I was thinking about this a lot earlier this week, and I connected with Kelly, and I didn't feel right having DEIJ issues be just this one corner. Because if we're really, really going to make progress, caring about diversity and equity and inclusion and justice, it's got to be woven into everything we do. So I had a proposal for this group that I would love to get feedback on, which is instead of having DEIJ be one of 4 priorities, that it actually be pulled out and we select one of 3 priorities with the understanding that DEIJ issues is part of everything and part of inclusion in every priority. So quick discussion, what do folks think about that? Is that all right with you? Let's do this. There's 21 people on the phone call. I know we're really busy. Any objections to that concept? All right, great. So what we're going to be doing, if everybody can see my screen, is that this priority will not be one of the ones you can vote on, because this priority will be part of every single conversation and be part of every, please.
Hey, I'm sorry, that was sort of quick. I didn't get to register that and I don't know if others did either. I don't agree. I might be the only one.
Could you explain that further?
I think we have to have a very specific conversation about what that means in Delaware, and I don't know that we can do that in the context of the other conversations. For example, for me, that would, I think there could be a focus on the Coastal Zone Act and how, which is a state statute that manages the area that's closest to the Delaware River Basin and the coastal. So anyway, I think that there are some very specific conversations that could occur around DEIJ that won't be able to be facilitated by conversations in the other three topics.
All right, a reaction from other folks on the phone call.
This is Jen. I'm a little bit playing catch up, so I think without knowing fully what the strategy would be for all of these, I can't say for sure, but I think Ellen is probably, I think I would agree with that. I mean, I do think that DEIJ should be part of all of the strategies in terms of who we're engaging and reaching out to as we implement those strategies. But I do think that we could lose some opportunities to address some important things for that head on and have some conversations like the ones Ellen's talking about.
All right, Kelly, real quick on a logistical note, I can't figure out how to go back to the previous slide. Do you know, every time I hit my mouse, it just keeps advancing. Do you know how to go back?
On the bottom left corner, you should be able to float across your screen and it will say next, back, etc.
You know what, that piece actually disappeared.
No worries. You can feel free to exit out and then just pull up the slide that you want again.
All right. All right, so so what I'm hearing from the folks that have spoken so far is that what they would like to see is that DEIJ be part of one of 4 priorities, as opposed to being woven into all of the priorities. Do we have any further discussion on that piece?
Yeah, hi, this is Mike. I won't be voting on anything. I don't represent the coalition in Delaware or anywhere else really, but just as an observation, I think what's being asked is not that one oppose the other necessarily, but that there be a specific light shown on DEIJ issues and to find a way to prioritize head-on conversations about that, but at the same time to acknowledge that it definitely needs to be threaded throughout all of the other priorities. So not one or the other, but I think, both and.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think that it's a guiding principle for all of the work that we do. So I don't know if there's like an overarching statement that we kind of use whenever we go and talk about the other priorities, but it just seems that it just seems like it is involved in everything that we do. And so pulling it out, I don't know if that takes something away. Maybe we need both. I don't know. I haven't had enough time to process it, so I need to think about it a little bit more.
Sure, no, I think that makes sense. And Kelly, could you just go ahead and drive? I'm working off my computer and it's just every time I try it advances and I don't want to slow people down.
No worries. Sandra, do you have the PowerPoint available? We'll get that right up, Emily.
All right, great. So what I was thinking is the reason I proposed to do it this way, though certainly it is absolutely up to the group, is I was worried I didn't want to make people choose between DEIJ issues and the plastic ban, the plastic regs, the new clean water funding, the Clean Water Funding Act, and working with wild and scenic rivers. I was afraid that, to me, DEIJ should be part of every piece of this. So it's not that we would say it doesn't deserve focus. It's not that it would say it doesn't deserve time. Sandra, could you go forward one more? Thank you. Actually, go forward one more. Next one. All right, great. So it's not that DEIJ issues wouldn't get their focus and wouldn't get their time. It's just it's so important. I didn't want to make you guys choose between this one and any of the other 3. So we have a couple ideas on, we have some folks saying that it should be one of the 4. We have some folks saying, if I'm hearing it correctly, that maybe there should be an overarching statement that DEIJ is vital. So do folks want to go ahead, and I can repeat them again, especially for Ellen who's on the phone. So it's advocate for clean water for the Delaware Act and $25 million in funding. It's consider DEIJ issues as part of any clean water advocacy and build relationships with local groups. fight any rollbacks of the plastic bag ban and support rigorous state regulations to implement the ban, and explore opportunities to amplify and coordinate efforts with the partnership of wild and scenic rivers. So I have a couple folks saying it should be one of the 4 priorities. It sounds like we have some folks saying, though please correct me if I'm wrong, that it should be overarching. Do we have any additional thoughts? And Kelly, maybe this is something we need to take to a vote.
We definitely can, yeah. And we did include it in the poll as well.
So I just wanted to be clear. I think what we're suggesting is that all the DEIJ should certainly be a topic in the other conversations around advocating for clean water in Delaware, about rollbacks, fighting rollbacks in the plastic bag ban, about wild and scenic. It's not that that shouldn't be discussed in those breakout rooms at all. I don't think that's what any of us are suggesting. It's just that there are some additional conversations that could be had around DEIJ that might not get the full opportunity in the other breakout rooms.
All right. Thank you, Ellen. That clarification, that is helpful. Kelly, let's do a quick vote if that's okay with people on the phone call. Can you set that vote up for us, Kelly?
Yeah, so essentially what we're gonna do is we're gonna vote via a poll on your Zoom screen what topic area you'd like to focus for the breakout sessions. And this will kind of dictate what strategies and tactics we'll be talking about for the remainder of today's session. So there should be a poll launched. If it doesn't launch for you on your computer, you can always type in the chat box which topic you'd like to talk about. Again, it's advocate for clean water funding, or Clean Water for Delaware Act, DEIJ, rollbacks on plastic, and then wild and scenic rivers.
Hey, Kelly.
Yeah.
If this is going to dictate what breakout rooms we're in, for those of us who aren't Delaware members, and at least I feel I shouldn't be making a choice, but still would like to participate in a session, I just want to put that out there that I'd like to be associated with one, but don't feel right about voting on behalf of the membership.
Totally. The poll is optional for folks that don't want to, you know, pick a topic.
Okay.
You're more than welcome to stay and with the conversation, of course.
Okay.
But we're just taking the poll to determine which breakout group we go in, not what we think should be the priority for
So this is
everybody working in Delaware.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For the remainder of the conversation,
Thank you.
The majority topic that gets chosen will be the same for all the breakouts that you go to. So we'll just be discussing one of these topics today. And of course, this is a continuing dialogue, so we can always touch on the other priorities at a later date and time. So you're just selecting which topic you'd like to go into breakouts. The majority of that topic will be for all breakouts.
Right. So as Kelly said, is that you guys are picking what you consider to be the #1 priority for the conversation today. And then what we're going to do is we're going to ask each breakout, there'll be 4 breakouts, to talk about strategies to implement the priority that has been chosen. So if everybody's looking at their screen right now, it's advocate for clean water for the Delaware Act, DE Clean Water Act, and $25 million in funding. The consider DEIJ issues as part of advocacy and build relationships with EJ groups, fight any rollbacks of the plastic bag ban and support rigorous state regulations, and explore opportunities to amplify and coordinate partnerships with the wild and scenic rivers.
Okay, so this isn't going to determine the group we go in. It's going to determine what all the groups are going to talk about the same thing.
Correct.
And this will determine what they talk about, but that's not going to make that the priority for the whole year or anything.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Got it.
We have about 55% of folks who voted. The highest voted priority is currently, oh, it just changed, Partnership Wild and Scenic, but I'll give folks another like 10 seconds or so. If you haven't voted, please do. We have 62% of folks who have voted. Okay. So I just shared the polling results, Emily.
All right, so any final, all right, so it looks like the priority that folks have chosen is explore opportunities to amplify and coordinate efforts with the Partnership for Wild and Scenic Rivers with 6 votes. It was very close. 5, as everybody can see, is advocate for clean water in Delaware, and then 4 was DEIJ issues, and 5 was the plastic bag ban. So the priority for conversation today that people selected is explore opportunities to amplify and coordinate efforts with the Partnership for the Wild and Scenic Rivers. So what we're going to do is Kelly is going to break each of you into random groups, and if we could hide the poll, please. Thank you, Sandra.
Is it hidden now? I just hit it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
All right, good. And advance to the next slide. All right, so your small group questions is we're going to ask you, what strategies do we need to accomplish this goal? How does COVID impact our ability to accomplish this priority? How do we weave in DEIJ considerations? What resources can CDRW provide? So understanding that folks felt there was some mixed feelings about how to handle DEIJ. If folks don't want to answer that third, I would urge you to think about how you can answer that third question. But if there are groups that want to hit the pause button on that, we can hit the pause button on that and come back. So Sandra, could you put the questions in the chat?
I already did.
Oh, thank you so much, Kelly. So what we're going to do is we're going to break you up by random. Please select a spokesperson from the group. You have 20 minutes. Oh boy, we have had a lot of conversation, so I'm sorry, we're going to have to be quick. You've got 15 minutes to have your conversation. Again, what strategies do we need to accomplish this goal? How does COVID impact it? How do we weave in DEIJ considerations for those that choose to? And what resources can CDRW provide? Kelly, turning it over to you for any further instructions.
No, that's wonderful. We'll break you out into rooms shortly.
Emily, did you get an invite for a breakout room?
I did, but as the person who's facilitating, I wasn't going to jump over.
Okay, sounds good. There is a way for you to hop around. I think Zoom will let you as the co-host, but for the other folks, I'm seeing Megan, Harry, Fukoski. Oh, there goes Fukoski. Megan and Harry, I'll reassign you if you haven't gotten it yet. Okay, Megan. Okay, so 15 minutes, so 9:54-ish.
It looks like Megan, maybe she didn't get a chance to jump over.
Yeah, I just tried to move her. I'm not sure if she's near her computer or not.
Oh, got it.
So no worries. So I'll bring back folks around 9:54-ish.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, sounds like a plan. All right. I'm gonna bounce around and see how folks are doing.
All right, that sounds good.
Oh, I just got your chat.
Sandra, I just got a text that says that group 3 needs someone who knows about wild and scenic rivers. Would that be you?
I can do my best, yeah.
Okay, all right, so it's group 3. I'll text John back that you're on your way. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that. I am going to have to hop off to go to this appointment. Thanks.
Thank you for all that you shared with us.
Well, thanks, and I'll be in touch, Suzanne.
Thank you
Candace,
very much.
take care. Good to see you.
You too.
Stay safe, everyone. Stay safe, Ellen.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. Looks like everybody is back and we are done with the breakouts. Thank you so much. Who wants to go first? Which group wants to report out first? I have a volunteer.
I'm happy to represent the group I was facilitate. So I think, you know, we continued the conversation a little bit more about diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice. And at least the group I was in, they thought, you know, it was warranted to have perhaps like a statement to one, you know, break out the priority a little bit more. You know, because it's kind of like DEIJ is a four-legged stool. It's, you know, are there bills in Delaware that we can advocate for that, you know, have that equity component and are focused primarily on equity. And then, of course, there's so much work to be done in our own organizations internally with culture and so on. So we made that point of, you know, having a statement perhaps and really, you know, maybe it warrants, you know, another conversation with this full group post forum. As Kelly mentioned, this is the start of the conversation. There's a lot more to be done, and breaking out what exactly the diversity priority means for all of us, and what exactly we're going to be working on. And then, you know, we pivoted to wild and scenic for a bit, and we thought that, you know, in terms of the eligible river miles that are in the National River Inventory from National Park Service, the Brandywine is likely the low-hanging fruit because there are so many constituencies in that area, and also the Dover area. So that's what, you know, that's where we got in the short time we have, but I do think it warrants a lot more conversation, hashing out, particularly on the DEIJ space, which was really positive that folks are so passionate and engaged with that. So anyone else from my group want to jump in and add any more that I missed?
Yep, that sounds great.
All right, good. Who is next?
I can jump in for our group. Many in our group actually aren't part of the coalition, but we, Ellen Kohler, even though she had to hop off here, gave us a really nice background about the work with wild and scenic rivers. And we talked mostly about some of the strategies and resources that we would need and kind of the issues we'd come up against, and thinking about the local interest, thinking about partners who would manage and you know, be responsible for these designations. So, you know, having issues with that, and how do we be inclusive, and, you know, how do we maybe get assistance from CDRW to help find those local partners. And then in terms of COVID, just the challenge for clean water in general.
Hey, I was just texting you.
I'm sorry, someone needs to mute themselves. We can hear your phone conversation. Sorry, Candace, go ahead.
And kind of how that ties in into the work with COVID. We didn't quite get to DEI work. I think that's because we did need a little bit of a background in the beginning of our conversation. And I think if anyone else wants to hop in, but there's definitely the local interest, and then getting that designation at the highest tier, because a designation doesn't automatically assume the highest tier of protections. Let's see, I don't know if it was John.
Good.
Or
all right, great. All right, next group. Sorry to rush people along. I know we had an ambitious agenda today, and we'll definitely all talk again. So who's our next person?
I'm happy to go, Emily, for my group.
Thank you, Kelly.
So we actually saw COVID as an opportunity to advocate for wild and scenic rivers, since there's so much engagement and people are kind of flocking to their parks and areas, you know, really using that to kind of push along as well. And we talked about potential resources, you know, what what current wild and scenic areas do have designations and where are gaps in those areas. You know, what are the requirements for them? Just kind of helping to share that criteria and designation requirements, et cetera. But we also talked a lot about the DEIJ component and maybe looking for urban areas as well that could benefit from wild and scenic designations, and maybe making those a priority in our advocacy moving forward with them as well. And, you know, once that designation is selected, I think we can definitely network a coordinated action, you know, and hopefully work with the management plan, et cetera, to make these designations happen. But that's what we talked about. Anyone from my group, feel free to chime in on things I missed too.
All right, last group, let's bring it on home. Who's going to speak up?
Okay, I guess I can. So I'll keep it short and sweet. Our main kind of point on how we can best explore opportunities to coordinate with the Partnership Wild and Scenic was similar to Kelly, that this really might be a great opportunity to expand at least just awareness around what the program is, how it can impact the waterways that we love, and connect people to those waterways. So, you know, there's kind of a little bit twofold. Part of that is re-engaging people who may have heard of it, but maybe don't know anything else about it. Or maybe they learned about it however long ago and now they need to have a refresher. Maybe that can be roped into or combined with something like adding the Brandywine, something like that, and new designations. But the other piece of it is people who may not have had any reason to know about it in the past. Maybe the pandemic and everything brought them outdoors, brought them into these spaces, and now we can say, hey, look, here's this thing that's been going on, and kind of a re-engagement in that way. So I think that there's some cool opportunities if we're able to act on them. Yeah. And my group, if there's anything else, let me know.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone, Sandra, Ellie, Candace, and Kelly, who did a report out. In terms of next steps, what I would like to propose is that a follow-up email will go to this group. We can include some notes from today, and just to try and connect people and have an ongoing conversation. And we want to work with folks on maybe potentially doing a monthly meeting. Del Nature, working with CDRW, is going to be leading monthly phone calls with CDRW partners in Delaware, and would love to cordially invite everyone on this phone call to join those if they would like. And what we'll do is part of the follow-up email, we'll ask people about their availability. And then I would love to, I know we all have, Kelly and Sandra and Ellie have heard me say this a lot. This is a garbage fire of a year, right, Kelly? I had to slip it in somewhere. And everybody is just, it's such a tough year for so many reasons. But clearly there's some great people on this group and there's some good energy. I would love to talk more. How can we implement this strategy when we have more time? I know we need to jump over. And then we also need to identify priorities in the winter. So want to continue to work with folks on that. Kelly, could you advance one more time, please?
Great.
Three final thoughts, actually. First of all, thank you so much. I recognize that this was rushed and we've got a lot going on. We will be following up with people. Delaware is small and mighty, and we're so glad everybody could join. Favorite point of mine, get out the vote. CDRW and the Clean Water Coalition, Choose Clean Water Coalition have created a wonderful civic engagement toolkit with important dates by state, social media posts, blogs, and email. So let's get out the vote for clean water this November. And Delaware just finished its primary, and it was actually a pretty good day for Delaware in terms of clean water, which is nice. And then one final thought, we found out that DelDOT, our Department of Transportation, has agreed to place 6 signs along major roadways in Delaware saying you're entering the Delaware River watershed, following New York, who did that as well. And Kelly and I found out yesterday we're having a press conference with the governor and the Department of Transportation tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So keep an eye on our social media pages. We are the Delaware River Basin Commission. They have been invited. Our governor is chair, as everybody knows. It's just a huge accomplishment, and we're very, very, very excited about it. It's glad that we can work with our partners, Laura Miller, who used to work at Delaware Nature Society, and everybody on the phone. So I know we got to go. So sorry to rush you out. Any final thoughts, questions, concerns, anything like that? All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll be following up with email, and have a great day.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.